Hey guys, welcome to the new episode of 52 Week Challenge 2020. I'm Vinod from Abu Dhabi, UAE, and today we have a special guest on our show. She is basically one of the world's leading consultant for alternative models in health and well-being. She is a world-renowned international speaker and she is the founder and CEO of Healology Academy. Help me welcome to invite Dr. Hanan on the stage. Thank you very much, Dr. Hanan. Dr. Hanan, we would like to know more about you and your success so far.
Thank you for having me. My name is Dr. Hanan Saleem. I'm an international speaker, award-winning author, and recognized by the world global health and wellness gurus as the most influential thought leader in health and well-being. So my journey started when actually I was 7 years old, and I've been always wanting to help children and people with their health and well-being. And growing up in the US, going back to visit back home in Egypt, I would see these unfortunate situations where children and people were really having some critical health issues. And I thought as a 7-year-old, I would grow up and become a healthcare professional or a pharmacist and give everybody drugs. And that's actually how my passion into becoming a pharmacist started. And of course, the reality is growing up and then becoming a healthcare professional, working for 25 years now, being a clinical pharmacist, worked at the most prestigious hospital in Manhattan, being on something called the PNT Committee, Pharmaceutics and Therapeutics Committee, and working with a lot of the leading doctors and nurses and on the staff at the hospital in Manhattan. Really was an amazing time for me. But I realized quickly during this time that there's things that don't actually show up for our clients and our patients on what we call conventional diagnostic tools like x-rays, MRIs, or lab works. And I was always in the back of my mind seeing patients who are on chemo doing excellent and then coming back 6 months to a year later with cancer with vengeance, having actually a limited time left on their life, or diabetes patients who are doing so well on their formulary and protocols would come back needing amputation because their leg with gangrene. And even obese patients would come back who are actually starting to lose the weight and becoming healthier, would actually come back to the hospital needing a ventilator because they couldn't breathe because of the weight. So it was always in the back of my mind that I knew there was something that was happening under the current, if you will, that's not really seen on all of these diagnostic tools that we were using in conventional medicine. So make a long story short, I became the patient. And I recall that day where I'll call her Nurse Mercy because she was a dark brown hair and a lovely green, light green eyes. She looked at me, and as she was making rounds on the cancer unit, and she saw me, and she's like, "Dr. Hanan, I never thought I would see you on the other side of the bed." And what she was mentioning is that I was actually the patient at that point. I had developed precancerous cells and other chronic conditions, and I was in the bed needing actually an operation to remove these polycystic ovarian syndrome and endometriosis that I was experiencing at the time. So needless to say, my back of my mind of what is actually happening for my patients become the forefront of what I needed to go on to find the root cause behind these conditions, and that's what led me on this journey today.
Wow, that's a really impressive introduction of yours, Dr. Hanan. Dr. Hanan, this is a great lesson for those people who also can visualize and see the dream in their early childhood. Because from your story, we could learn that a 7-year-old girl's dream can also become true. That's fantastic. So, Dr. Hanan, we want to understand that right now during the pandemic situation globally, people are depressed. They are feeling very bad. And moreover, the problem is not physical, but rather it is mental. So what would be your advice to take care for their mental health over the physical health?
Well, I truly believe that mental health is the cornerstone of physical health. So I've developed something and did many years of research called the mind-brain-organ connection. So it all starts in the mind, the mental health, if you will, that gives the marching orders to the brain to release certain chemicals to the organ, hence creating the symptoms. So I truly believe that these things that I now call chronic biodisruptors, these are silent environmental stressors that actually compound, that affects not only the mind but gradually brings you into the chronic condition we call obesity, diabetes, and other chronic conditions like cancer, and as well as Alzheimer's disease. Because needless to say that it's not at the point of diagnosis, meaning that when you go to your doctor's office and he says you have cancer or you have diabetes or you have high blood pressure, it's not at that point in time that you actually develop the disease. There's a lot of things and time that has been in the works to get you to that condition. What do I mean by that? So if we look at diabetes, there's something called pre-diabetes, and science and research has shown that it actually is in the works like Alzheimer's disease for 15 to 20 years in the background, with this accumulation of these environmental and psychological stressors that bring you into what we call the chronic condition. So chronic biodisruptors, if I will, that's my main research, has shown that to be the bulk of the reason why we have these mental health, hence physical health situations, because these are actually environmental and psychological stressors, and these are based on what we call epigenetics. So epigenetics research says that it's not your DNA, it's not your genetics per se that predisposes you to disease or chronic conditions. It's actually your environment that you surround yourself with physically and psychologically. So there's a research that shows once you get to understand what this is in your environment, you could actually nuke it and prevent you from getting any of these world well-known chronic conditions. And like we always say, prevention is the best cure.
That's a nice advice, Dr. Hanan. Thank you very much, and I'm sure that many people are going to take advantage of this advice. So my next question is that as of now, you know that there are people who are basically going to the illness industry, okay? When they get sick, they go for medicine, they go for pharmacy and all those things. What do you think that how come the wellness industry is growing more than the illness industry? Because wellness means you are taking precautions and you are avoiding that situation to come of the emergency. So from the journey of I to we, illness to wellness. So what's your comment on that?
The statistics have shown in 2017 that wellness industry is a $4.2 trillion industry, which just goes to show you that people are looking for resources and tools to take back control over their health and well-being. Things like meditation, like yoga, and things like platforms like Mind Valley, the Singularity University, as well as Gaia. I mean, these things were never out there before, and that's trying to fulfill an unmet need that people are searching, because they're estimating that by 2030 there will be 1.2 billion people who will be 60 years of age and more. So there's a need there. Everybody's realizing now that the healthcare and the protocols and the conventional protocols, especially with the pandemic that we're experiencing with COVID, it's just showing that there are things coming up that us healthcare professionals, we don't understand, we don't have the tools for yet. And we as people in the community are trying to help ourselves really, and being depression, and because of the lockdown and everything else, people are just going online, really looking and searching to help themselves during situations like COVID and beyond.
Dr. Hanan, I totally agree with you. What you said is correct. Today people are very attentive and they are taking all precautionary measures to avoid the lifestyle diseases, because these all diseases are lifestyle because of our sophisticated lifestyle, and people are more inclined towards yoga, meditation, exercise, getting great water, nice air, and taking food supplements. So people want to avoid to go to the medical situations. Wonderful, thank you so much. So Dr. Hanan, finally, anything you would like to add about our YouTube channel and about our initiative of 52-week challenge 2020? Anything you want to add on, please?
Congratulations on your YouTube channel. I'm very excited for you because you are one of the few people who will actually create the information and the bringing on detail and videos of that will actually help others, and not just post a cat and a dog video, that kind of thing. So it's amazing and it's wonderful to be on your platform, and congratulations on this YouTube channel, and I wish you the best luck, and I appreciate bringing me on here as your guest to bring forward more details and how people can definitely take back control over their health and well-being. And thank you for allowing me to speak about my system, Healology, Wellness Psychology Prescriptions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hanan, for your great, kind words for our channel, for our efforts, for our initiative. And we also really wish you all the very best for your future. And we want to say again, thank you so much for being with us at our show. So guys, this was a great show where we invited a great personality, and don't forget that we are committed to bring more new great personalities. So if you haven't subscribed this channel, subscribe this now, and see you next Friday, 7 p.m.